Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube, and I'm back again with another legend that I drafted in the draft video from last week, and it is the Swarmweaver. 2 black and green for a 2/3 scarecrow. When it enters the battlefield we get 2 1/1 black green insect creature tokens with flying, and then if we had delirium they get +1/+1 and death touch along with any spiders we have. If you watched the video, you know this served me really well all through the draft. I can understand why LSV and BD and whoever it is who does limited resources with them, I've forgotten, hype this is one of the best rares in the set, because this card was amazing for me. I couldn't fault it at all. So I figured it did so well for me in there, I need to try and turn it into a type-all deck for Commander, and that's what today's deck is all about. So here we go. Right then, so the first thing I did was went and searched all my collection for anything that was an insect or a spider, and there were some surprising ones. Haywire Mite is actually an insect. I didn't realise it, even though it's an artifact, but it does do the whole sacrifice, exile a target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment, which could help us out quite a lot in the moment, especially with all the rooms that are being played on Commander currently. And then, yeah, Scoop Mob. It's obviously an insect, and it just gets bigger the more lands we have in play, as you know. Brood Spinner comes in from the Duskmourn set as well. Again, another card that served me really well in the draft video from last week. Exile comes in Surveil 2, and then you can pay 6 for black and green. Sorry, there's 6. I'm not having a good day today. And sacrifice it off and get all those 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens with flying equal to the number of card types amongst cards in your graveyard. So, yeah, because we're going for delirium, it should be 4 most of the time. Carol, a Whipcracker, comes back in from Murders of Karloff Manor. An insect assassin, has reach, and when it enters you can blow up a target token an opponent controls. Twitching Doll, which was also in the draft deck. I said yesterday's video it'd be back. It is today. This time I am aiming to sacrifice it off at some stage to get all the spider creatures, especially when I've got delirium on the go with the Swarmweaver, so that's what I'm aiming for. Blex Vexing Pest is also here. You do want to cast it as a legendary half. I mean, the search for Blex is okay. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of them in your hand, into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 3 life for each card put into your hand this way. Great if you need to trigger delirium and you're 1 card short. Hopefully you can find it in the top 5. But you really do want to cast it as a creature version, because then other pests, bats, insects, snakes and spiders, so insects and spiders are 2 interesting, get +1/+1, and when Blex dies you gain 4 life, so pretty good. Hornet Nest is an insect, comes into play, we get all those 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch, so it makes sense to have this here. Nyx Weaver is a spider. It doesn't look like, I always forget it's a spider, I have to say, because of the artwork, but we get to mill the top 2 cards at the beginning of our upkeep, and then we get to exile it to return a card from our graveyard to our hand if we need it to. So, but in the meantime it's a 2/3 reach. Obelisk Spider, R of Devastation if I remember correctly, deals combat damage to a creature, put a -1/-1 counter on it, and whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and we gain a life. So yeah, okay. In real life I will be very happy to have Scoot Swarm. I have got this built on MTGO and I have crashed MTGO so many times with Scoot Swarm, it's getting beyond a joke now. However, in the first instance it gives us lots of insect tokens, and then we get copies of Scoot Swarm which are also insects, which means once Swarmweaver hits delirium level, +1/+1 and death touch. We'll risk it for MTGO and hope we don't crash the games again. Sporeweb Weaver comes in, reach, hexproof from blue, and whenever it's dealt damage we gain a life and get a sapling creature token. Don't get a bonus on that, but still another token to block with. Arista, the Endless Webs, reach, and whenever an opponent casts an instant sorcery we get a spider. Okay. Nylea, God of the Hunt, is one of the few non-insects and spider creatures away from our commander in the deck. However, because we're aiming for delirium and this gives everything trample, that means we can just put 1 point on each creature and still get some damage across. I hope. Shelob, the Dreadweaver, comes in from Lord of the Rings. Once it appears, there you go. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dials, exile it, and then you get to do all the tricks with Shelob, as we know and love. Skyfisher Spider comes in from Brothers War. enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, destroy target non-land permanent. So it gives you a way of sacrificing off some of your tokens, a little bit of targeted removal. And when it dies, you gain 1 life for each creature card in our spider. If you do, we get to exile the Skyfisher's spider. Okay. One card that I didn't realise was actually had made it to MTGO, and I'm very pleased it had, is Amuzu Swarm's Hunger. 3 black and green, for a 3/3 insect shaman. This came from the Ravnica clue set, if you want to know where it's come from. Has flying and menace, and gives all our other insects menace. And then when 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, you may create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest mana value amongst those cards. Only once a turn. Are we going to get things out of our graveyard? Probably not. Are we going to enjoy having all our insects having menace to make them even harder to block with Death Touch? Yes, we are. Defiler of Vigors here, another one of the non-insect, non-spider creatures in the deck, just so we get our green spells a little bit bigger when we get all our creatures bigger when we cast green permanent spells. Ishnak Graf Widow is also in. Reach Delirium. When Ishnak Graf Widow enters the battlefield, if there are 4 more creature card types amongst the cards in your graveyard, you get 3 1/2 spider creature tokens with Reach, and then you can pay 6 and a black for each target opponent loses 1 life for each spider you control. Okay then. Mazarik Cruel Death Priest is an insect shaman, and whenever someone sacrifices something, you get +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. Nice. Oja Klasim, because I just like having this god in as well. It's a green deck, I like having it here, sorry. Same with Lumara Bellow of the Woods. Power and toughness equal to the number of lands we control, but it does mill 4 cards when it enters, and then we get all our lands from our graveyard back into play, which could be beneficial and still leave us with Delirium, I hope. Another version of Shelob is here. This is a child of Ungulant. Death Touch and Ward. Gives all our spiders instantly Death Touch and Ward without having to have the Swarmweaver give it as well. And then whenever another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a food artifact, and you sacrifice it to basically gain 3 life because it loses all its other abilities. Sweet Gum Recluse, just because we've got the Cascade, and I like the idea of chucking around some +1/+1 counters on anything we cascade into. Giant Adaphage. Yeah. Really did forget this was an insect. This with Trample and a +1/+1 and maybe Death Touch from Swarmweaver is going to mean you're going to end up with a lot of copies of the Giant Adaphage, I think, in play. Glintweaver comes in, enters the battlefield, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters amongst up to 3 target creatures, and then you gain life equal to greatest toughness of creatures you control. The Hornet Queen is the Hornet Queen. We all know what it does, we all love it to pieces. Mongrath Monstrosity, we dies, exile it, then return 2 creature cards at random from your graveyard to your battlefield. To the battlefield. Living Hive gives us all those insect green tokens. It is another non-insect creature itself, and yeah, you all saw the card I skipped over. You all know what it does, Craterhoof. With the amount of insects and spider tokens I'm hoping we'll be able to create, Craterhoof should come down and win us the game quite happily. 2 Planeswalkers, nothing fancy today, just Grist the Hunger Tide because it does produce insects for us, and then Garruk Wildspeaker to help us get the lands out and if need be create a 3/3 beast. 18 spells in the deck. Smuggler's Surprise to help us mill the cards, get things in our hand, and then maybe if we've paid the silly amount of 7 mana, get 2 of them into play. Assassin's Trophy to take out things that are annoying us. Cash Grab comes back in from the Bloomberg set because, you know, we've got no squirrels, so we're not going to gain the food token, but milling the 4 and getting a permanent in our hands is pretty good. Same with Commune with Gods for a creature. Farseek for some ramp. Gather the Pack does the whole mill thing as well, but it's better because if we've got two or more instants or sorceries in our card, we get 2 of the creatures back instead of just 1. Grapple with the Past lets us put the top 3 cards of our library into the graveyard, then return a land or creature to our hand. Grizzly Salvage does the same thing, but it's 5 and costs a little bit more. Heroic Intervention keeps everything alive. Mulch puts the 4 top cards and gives us all our land cards basically from the top 4, the rest are in the graveyard. Return from extinction, we get to return a couple of creatures to our hand, be if they share a creature type, so it will be spiders mainly, or maybe insects, because Grist is in there, don't forget. Roots of Wisdom, mill 3, return a land card or elf, so yeah, if we can't, we draw a card. I'll cope with that. Sylvan Scribe for ramp along with 3 visits. Tyrant's Choice from Vintage Masters, I think, on MTGO. Starting with you, each player votes for death or torture. If death gets more votes, each opponent sacrifices a creature. If torture does, everyone gets 4 life. It loses, all of the opponents lose 4 life. Arachnogenesis. Yeah. Create all those spider tokens where X is the number of creatures attacking us, and then prevent all combat damage will be dealt by non-spiders this turn. And then let's play a game, because that worked really well for me in the draft as well. I quite like the idea of being able to do this for Delirium and trigger all 3 abilities, so we'll go with that. And then a bit of fun at the end, Majestic Genesis, mainly because I wanted to play it and I had a slot left, so this went in. Not too many artifacts, they are all ramp. Sol Ring, Signet, and one of each of the medallions takes care of the artifacts for this deck. Then we have Crop Signal, Delirium. At the beginning of our upkeep we mill 2, and then basically Delirium we can sacrifice it, return up to 1 target creature card and up to 1 target land from our graveyard to our hand if we need to for 3 mana. That's fair. Vassal of Narcens. Narcensi. Oh, I can't even try and say it, I'm going to butcher it. You know what it does. Reveal top 4 cards, put an artifact, creature, enchantment, land or planeswalker into your hand, the rest in the graveyard. Innkeeper's Talent is also back again. +1/+1 counters on things, giving them ward once we get to level 2, and then doubling it up once we get to level 3. Insidious Roots is also in. Creature tokens you control have tap, add 1 of any mana of any colour, so you know, helps us ramp. And then whenever 1 or more creature cards leave our graveyard, create a 0/1 green plant creature token, then put +1/+1 counter on each plant you control. Not very useful, but the tapping for mana is. Agent of the Iron Throne gives whenever an artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, everyone loses 1 apart from us. Beastmaster Ascension makes our creatures very big when we start attacking with them. Crawling Sensation, auto mill at the beginning of our upkeep, and then if a land is put into our graveyard from anywhere for the first time each turn, we get to have a 1/1 green insect creature token. Growing Rights, just to eventually flip into Gaze Cradle, basically. Epic Struggle, backup win condition. If we control 20 or more creatures at the beginning of our upkeep, we win the game. We should be able to get there, I hope, especially since I've chucked in Parallel Lives to make sure that all the creature tokens we generate are doubled up. Lands wise, black and green lands all the way through. A couple of things I will point out. Field of the Dead is here again. Yes, they give us zombies, but hey, shoot me. Dranathi Runes is very nice. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on a target non-human creature that enters the battlefield this turn. That's quite nice. And Oran Reef Vastwood, we can just tap this and put a +1/+1 counter on each green creature that enters the battlefield this turn. I like this card, it's good fun. Tainted Woods here, we've got Unclaimed Territory, naming spiders by the way, just so we're clear. And then we have got Urborg and Yavimaya to help us smooth our mana out a little bit more. But that's it for the Swarmweaver. I loved playing this in the draft. I thought it was fantastic, so hence why the deck's come out today. If you think there is a spider or a insect I've missed out, please let me know in the comments down below. I would really like it if people could like and share some of the videos as well, so if you can, please do that. There will be some new features starting very soon on YouTube called hype. So basically when you like one of the videos I get hype points, then if I get enough hype points my videos go in the top 100 in the UK. I'd really like that because that might help me out grow the channel a bit quicker. If you haven't been here before, please hit the subscribe button, help me out, help me get towards 1,000 now. That's what we're going to be aiming for the whole, for the rest of this year and probably most of next year and the year after, since it's taken me 2 years to get to 519, but let's not go there. But yeah, all the help greatly appreciated. If there is a specific deck you're looking to see, the rest of this week has been done. But if there's anything you really do want me to cover from Duskmourn, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll make sure I get around to it next week. But for now, take care, have fun, hope you've enjoyed this one. Leave me some comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.